Why nice guys get no respect and finish last with women. So this particular email, it's kind of long. It's longer than I normally get, but it's just such a good email because the guy's got so much detail. He's literally got a month-by-month play-by-play of everything that's transpired between him and this woman over the past year. So he's known her for 8 years, and in her own words, she says she's a level 10 crazy. So I guess she works in kind of the recovery business, where she helps people that got alcohol problems. And as you'll see, she clearly has an alcohol problem herself. But what you see here is this guy's got kind of like the Captain Save-A-Ho mentality. He's not holding her accountable. He allows her to just walk all over him. And you can see from the email, he's got a bad case of blue balls, and he's been getting nowhere with this particular woman. So it's a really good email of what not to do and how being a people pleaser and allowing yourself to be treated like a doormat by a woman just gets no respect. If you guys ever saw, there was a movie, I think it was in the late 80s. It was when Bruce Willis was first becoming famous. You know, he had the TV show Moonlighting, obviously, which did well in the 80s, but Blind Date was the name of this movie. It was with him and Kim Basinger. And so they get set up, and she's obviously a beautiful woman. They said, whatever you do, don't let her drink. Well, they go to dinner, and she ends up having a couple of cocktails, and then just the whole movie is just off the rails. Crazy things going on because of what happens when she drinks. And so that's when I read this, it just kind of reminds me of it, because just some of the shit that this woman does and comes out of her mouth it's just brutal. So you can kind of feel for this guy, but this is like an extreme case of being too nice. Why the nice guy empties his wallet, always does things for a woman, and it's never appreciated, it's never reciprocated, and then she goes on to date and sleep with other dudes instead of him. So it's a good email to learn from of what not to do. So he says, hey coach, thank you so much for your channel. It's been such a learning and growth experience for me. I found you when I thought I was going insane from the attraction and what I thought was limerence for someone. I forget what the word limerence means. This is the second time this week I've had video newsletters. Usually people from the UK use that term. He says, you asked in an older video for emails to respond to for content. Yeah, if you could think you got a good email, send it to questions@understandingrelationships.com. Can't guarantee I'll answer it, but you know, when guys put the time in a good meal or a good email and they got good detail, I'm happy to go through it because these are just really great to learn from. He says it might be best to do a chronological order below, but I'll leave the editing decisions to you. This could easily be an even longer story, but it's the same pattern over and over again over 1 year. So he says, this starts July 2024, our first date. We have known each other for 8 years, and she mentioned being especially vulnerable when she turned 40. I sent her flowers. Well, those either familiar with the book, you know, you don't send flowers to somebody unless they're your girlfriend or your wife. So this is obviously probably before he ever heard about me or family, but you see this in movies and TV shows. It's totally in the culture. Send her flowers, chocolates, buy her things, and she'll like you. In reality, it just comes off as a bribe for sex, and on a first date, it's just too much too soon. Shows you're just way too serious. You're over-investing. You're spending a bunch of money with somebody. I know he's known her. I guess they must have met just through what he does for a living and what she does. I think he said they're in the same industry. I sent her flowers, and she said we should hang out. So I invited her to dinner at the Magic Castle in Hollywood, which she was excited about. I picked her up, and she confessed to having 2 shots of tequila before our date since she was nervous. Well, I'm a little nervous. Hey, how about some tequila? That's not what you want to hear on a first date. Oh, I was so nervous I had to do 2 shots of tequila to go on a date with you. Yeah. probably got some self-control issues. We had dinner and drinks, and she couldn't stop talking during our first magic show of the night, and we got kicked out. Some of these people are like, everybody's like, shh, shh. She insisted on taking photos of us using her phone, but then deleted it. When I dropped her off, she said if we ran into anyone she knew, to use the name of her brother. Huh? This woman's got more red flags than the Chinese Communist Party. She told me that, and it's early, she told me that she has really admired me for a long time, and that she was in love with me. That's what we call love bombing? It's like, come on. We kissed, we held hands all night. She laid on my chest and shoulder on the drive home, and she said her goal with me was to become my girlfriend. I asked if she was single, and she said yes. Which, that's important when we get to like the end of the email, when things are just they go sideways. Or they're just really not going anywhere. So keep that in mind. So we see some love bombing. She's already got a buzz when he picks her up. It's like, that's not good. And, oh, hey, lie and say that you're my brother. It's like, come on. It's like, really? It's like, I'm not going to say I'm your brother. I'm not going to fucking lie to people. It's like, are you kidding me? I wouldn't do that. Like I say, I could take you back home if you like. But he's known her for 8 years. He's probably been kind of hung up on her. And he bought the BS. And so narcissists tend to do this. They tend to do love bombing. You're on a first date. Oh, I've been in love with you forever. I was like, really? Well, let's see if that's true or not. Oh, the two of the gremlins just woke up and came in. Hopefully he doesn't get noisy. I had somebody send me an email lecturing me about the dogs, because I guess during one of the live streams, I think it was last week or the week before, we were doing a live stream, and like the AC shut off in my apartment, stopped, it started blowing hot air, and just, I'm fucking sitting there sweating. It's hot as fuck in the afternoon. And then, of course, one of the dogs decides to, because the door had been closed, because we were trying to keep as much cool air as possible. So the dog wasn't able to go outside to use the bathroom, and she decided to take a fucking dump right in the middle of the podcast studio. So this guy sent this email and just lecturing me about it. Oh, stop it. So I got Ocean laying down, and two of her puppies are like, Mommy, let's play. So we'll see how quiet they can get. It tells you a lot when somebody, will send you a nasty email about the dogs, or they're always saying nasty things about the girls on my show. It's like, come on. If you hate women, you hate kids, we're going to have a crying baby here in a few months. Jade's about to pop. And you don't like animals, it's like, this is probably not the channel for you. And he even mentioned that I said that in a previous video. It's like, true. This is life. Chaos happens. What do you do when shit happens? As long as nobody's coming in and out of the door, or it's, somebody's banging on the slab or whatever. That kind of thing. So, back to our regularly scheduled emails. So this woman's just blowing all kinds of sunshine up his ass. So that should have been a red flag. But you're like, well, I've known each other for 8 years. Is that really true? She really, truly love him? Or maybe it was the alcohol talking, which you'll see that later. So August of 2024, her and I work in the same industry, but in different aspects. She runs a rehab program. Oh, jeez. She confessed to having 2 DUIs, which were the fault of the men she was dating. No accountabilities. No, it's not my fault. It was the damn guys I was dating. She got into a fight while drunk with them, and then decided to drive off in anger instead of taking an Uber or a taxi. Good judgment. We see each other every week at various legal events. She's always friendly and professional at our work events, but she keeps calling me babe, talking about our wedding someday, talking about our kids, and talking about our future plans, saying she wants to live together. And, at this early stage, she may have had a fantasy of what she wanted him to be. And she was definitely more respectful, because you could see as the months goes on, the behavior, which always involves alcohol, is just, again, the movie Blind Date, it reminds me, when I read this email, that's what I was thinking of. It's a really funny movie. Unfortunately, Bruce Willis has got like frontal lobe dementia, I think, or something like that. He can't speak or even walk anymore, which is really sad. It sucks to see that, but that's life, man. Karma comes for all. Father Time's undefeated. All we are is dust in the wind. So she's been diagnosed with BPD, borderline personality disorder, and extreme anxiety, and self-medicates with alcohol. Well, it's a good thing that she's in the rehab business. I guess apparently she's not a customer. She's one of those people that basically is not admitting they have a problem. She admits to being an alcoholic, and she binge drinks, always drinking doubles, and has 8 to 12 drinks a night. Tequila? Oh, man. Oof. That's brutal. I don't like tequila. A little sip of it, a little Don Julio every now and then. But, God, 8 to 12 drinks a night. Her liver must love her. September 2024. I invited her to my birthday. Remember, you only invite her into your life and hang out with your friends and your family if she's your girlfriend and head over heels in love with you. But they haven't even slept together at this point, so he shouldn't. Again, this is all, I assume, before he found out about my work. So we know not. You guys that are good students know not to do this. So I invited her to my birthday, and she didn't show up, despite confirming. She really cares. This is the woman that loves him and wants to have his kids, right? And she has been in love with him for a long time. You would think if she loves you and wants to marry you and have your children, and her goal is to become your girlfriend, that she shows up. So this is why we look at what women do, not what they say. So says she cares and doesn't even bother showing up. So she clearly ain't feeling what she says. Again, this is what you got to pay attention to. Look what a woman does, not what she says. I invited her to my quarterly social parties, which she said she would attend, and I baked the cookies she said were her favorites. He's acting like a chick. She never showed up. So he's going out of his way because he believed what she told him. Oh, she must really love me. I'll bake her some cookies. She invited me to go out with her girlfriends after an event and bought dinner for all of us and said she couldn't wait to be alone with me. And then she got really drunk and asked me to drop her off. We got sexual for the first time. She told me that the pictures of my birthday party made her jealous and that she wanted to be closer to me. I don't know if that means they had sex or they just fooled around. More than likely, probably just fooled around. But maybe he laid the pipe. We don't know. So October 2024, we went to a baseball game where she was extremely affectionate. She was holding my hand, telling me she loved me, and that she was in love with me. Do we believe her? Probably not. She asked me not to post any pictures of that date at the game since she said she doesn't want anyone to know about us or gossip about us, and says people are always trying to set her up and asking who she's dating or if she has a boyfriend. Remember, this is guys, the love of her life. If that was really true, she'd want to show you off to the world, and she would want everybody to know that you belong to her. But that's not the case, so her saying, I love you, is probably just the alcohol talking, or just narcissistic love bombing. I've been yelled at as if I even post pics of her and I together. I took her on a trip, and so now he's allowing her to yell at him, and he continues to put up with it. I took her on a trip. We both went to D.C. to have dinner at the U.S. Supreme Court, including first-class flights to and from. Man, brutal. Spending all this money on a girl who's not his girlfriend. But again, he's probably didn't know any better at the time, and he's just believing all the bullshit coming out of her mouth. Because he's thinking, I know this girl 8 years. She's got to be reliable, right? When we checked in, she said, no sex this weekend. I have a yeast infection. Oh, goody. Goody. How's the fungus among us doing? Then I gave her a massage, and we almost ended up having sex. The next morning, she accused me of crossing lines and said she just wanted to be friends with me. Hey, we can be friends with benefits, but I'm not going to do that. Whenever a woman tries to friend zone you, always change it to, I'm down for friends with benefits, but I ain't going to do just platonic friendship. No, thank you. I asked her about all the future faking, and she said that between her and I, we have a lot of blurred lines, and that it's complicated. It's complicated. So, again, we could tell at this point her interest is not as high as it was initially, and she's clearly starting to be rude and disrespectful. But wait! It gets worse. So we attended the formal dinner, took a lot of pictures, and she got very drunk and excused herself to go to the bathroom and then texted me that she was back at our hotel room. Can you imagine flying a chick out there like that and she just gets so drunk and then just leaves your ass? Oh, hey, I'm at the hotel. I'm not actually in the bathroom. I left early to find her when she didn't come out of the restroom and was really worried about her. She said the next morning, now you know I'm level 10 crazy. And he's like, it's okay, I can work with this. I can fix that. Your job is not to fix her to save somebody. I mean, this woman is like, hey, look at my warehouse of red flags. And you're like, I can fix them all. On the flight back, she got very drunk in first class and urinated on the cabin floor. How many of you know people that got so drunk on a flight they urinated in the cabin floor? The flight attendant made me clean up the mess with a paper towel and gloves and cut us off from drinks. She kept insulting him. She asked what would happen if she opened the airplane door in flight. It's not a good idea to joke around with that stuff. And they asked me to make sure she didn't get up the rest of the flight. When we got to the airport, she accused me of stealing her phone charger, stealing her luggage, and called her sister to pick her up from the airport, claiming that I was a criminal. He stole my charger. He's a criminal. Jeez. Oh, man. She cropped me out of every photo, group and couples photos, to make it look like she went on that trip alone. Isn't that nice? You spend all that money on her, and you can't even be in the picture. She's got to delete you. Oh, look at me. I'm an influencer. I'm living high and large. Woo! November 2024. I planned a pub crawl for our profession, and she showed up via Uber drunk. I can't believe it. She showed up drunk? Outrageous. I'm shocked, I tell you. She excused herself to the bathroom and then took an Uber home. She did the same thing later when she met me at a comedy club. She got so drunk during the comedy performance that she wouldn't stop talking, and we got asked to leave. While I was paying our tab, she had snuck out and took an Uber and left, despite telling me to meet her at a restaurant nearby. And he's like, this will work out, you know? And he's probably talking to his female friend. Oh, just tell her how much you love her and care about her. Just be patient with her. If it's meant to be, it'll be. And he's going, what the fuck? For whatever reason, she does this all the time. Well, she does it because she doesn't respect you, because she knows she can get away with it. And so now she knows there's no consequences because you'll keep putting up with it. You'll keep spending money on her, and you don't seem to have a problem with the blue balls. Maybe it's people pleasing. Maybe it's her anxiety. Maybe it's Maybelline. Well, this is what happens. No one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. And the fact that you just keep taking all this shit and this abuse, and then you keep asking her out and hanging out with her, it's like, that's on you, dude. It made me start to resent her, and I asked to talk to her. I'm going to give her a stern talking to. That'll fix her. She met me in a bar and fit me with a GPS tracker that measures alcohol consumption to test out. It's part of what she does for work. For the first time, I was the drunk one. And I asked her why she tells me she loves me every time she is drunk and only when she is drunk. Because she doesn't mean it, dude. It's just words. Some women are just phony as fuck. Like, oh, I love you. You're so amazing. We're kindred spirits. I feel the same way. You're awesome. But their actions never match their words. She told me that and they usually always come from broken homes. She told me that she has always been toxic in relationships, and that her business is failing, and that she needs to be stable before she can love anyone. So you can tell at this point, he's like, Stella, please pay attention to me. Please date me. Please love me. I want to have sex again. She said I'm a good-looking guy and that I can find someone new rapidly. Because at this point, she's checked out. She likes the free stuff, but other than that, she don't really care at all about this guy. I started dating someone new. Good job, which is what you should be doing. And I also asked for her business financials and came out with a plan to improve her business, stating I could probably focus on some areas and double her income. And what does he get for his trouble? For being Captain Save-A-Ho? Again, he's still being nice. Probably raised by a single mom. This is what... Or, the dad's just checked out and not around. So, I can relate. December 2024. I not only doubled her business income, I more than tripled it. Well, because you're obviously a good dude and you're smart and you're a good entrepreneur. And quite frankly, this bitch didn't deserve it. She hired 3 new employees and she showed up drunk to another formal event I was at with a date. Well, at least you were dating somebody else by this point. She kept texting me saying she needed to talk to me, and I told my date that if it made her uncomfortable, I wouldn't talk to her. You shouldn't be doing this with your date. Because now you're looking like a bitch in front of your date. You can't do these things. My date said, you should talk, and in front of everyone, she called me an asshole and said I was an autistic piece of shit. And kept repeating what an asshole I was until she left and took an Uber home. This is great. And your date's probably going, wow, what a pussy you are. What a big fucking pussy. You could be a Harry Honda. We ended up at a football game 10 days later. Why? Dude, you obviously like this abuse. It's like, come on, man. Have some self-respect. If somebody does that to me one time, it's like, yeah, see you later. Check, please. We ended up at a football game 10 days later, and she wanted to apologize and was holding my hand, said she loves me more than anyone, and said she wanted a regular sexual relationship with me. We went to her home, and she started fighting right away and said I needed to leave. I sent her flowers. You sent her flowers for her shitty treatment of you? See, this is why she does it. Because you're such a pussy, and you just put up with it. Calling a spade, dude. Every guy's been there and done some level of this shit, so don't feel bad. You're in good company here, and guys in the comments can say, yeah, I did stupid shit too. I invited her to go see Christmas lights, invited her to a helicopter tour, invited her to dinner. Everything was a no because she was busy during the holidays. I run a business also, but she don't care, dude. She don't care about you. Because the problem is you got no self-respect. You don't set and enforce healthy boundaries, and you allow her to treat you like a doormat. And this is why she's not interested in sex with you, and she abuses you, because you won't stand up to her. And so this is why, as you'll see in January 2025, the nice guy goes home with blue balls while she goes and gets fucked by Chad Thundercock. He says, I attended a function with her where she had invited a new man from her hometown. He came up behind her and grabbed her boobs. She pressed her butt into his crotch. What's the red pill saying? Alpha bucks, beta bucks, alpha fucks. So this is why you pay for everything and she abuses you, and then she goes and fucks some douchebag. She always told me that she needed to appear as classy as possible in front of our colleagues, and she was doing this with someone new. So again, she's treating you different. Why? Because she doesn't respect you, and she's basically saying, hey, no hanky-panky, don't touch me in front of other people. I don't want them to think I'm dating you. Or fucking you, for that matter. Again, you just look at her actions. He introduced himself and told me that he knew I had sent her flowers and that he wanted me to know that her and him had never dated before. Why are you telling me? Why do I need this information? Because he's, I think, still dating somebody else at this point. But you can tell he's still carrying the torch, hoping things will turn around. They went on a weekend trip. I was at her home when she was packing for this trip, and went to a work function together and got a hotel room. She posted the pictures of her and him in their hotel room 4 times on social media. Remember, I don't want anybody to know that we're together. But this guy who she barely knows and is, he's obviously dicking her down good, she posts him all over social media because she's attracted to him and is turned on by him. So what you're seeing is attraction cuts through everything. All these rules that she supposedly had for the beta male. A guy who shows up like an alpha, he's all over social media. She's rubbing her butt on his crotch in front of other people, posting, going on trips and posting it when she's erasing him from their pictures. 2 weeks later, they appeared to be done, no longer hanging out and no longer taking trips or going to events together. Because he probably saw her freak out or lose her shit one time when she drank too much. And he's like, check please, Elvis is leaving the building. Thanks for the memories. Don't call me. Lose my number. February 2025. I travel a lot, and during one trip out of the country, we resumed our previous pattern of doing video chats with each other. It felt good to connect with her via video while away. I promised her that I would plan her birthday party, and I rented a boat, had drinks and food, worked with her on the music and the guest list of all her friends, and reserved a place on the water for dinner for all 25 of us, plus got her a custom cake. Damn, dude. This is the kind of shit you do for your wife. Maybe a girlfriend if you're living together and you're serious, but not some chick you're not even fucking anymore. Her name has an unusual spelling, and she told me later that in every souvenir store or gift shop, she would search for her name but never saw it. She grew up as one of 16 kids, so her parents only had time or the budget for generic grocery store cakes. I gave her flowers, gifts, and she seemed very angry. Yeah, because you're a pussy and you won't stand up to her. That's the bottom line. That's why she does it, is hoping that you'll stand up to her and put her in her place and then act like a Chad Thundercock and take her back to the bedroom and fuck her properly. But instead, somebody else does the fucking, and you get to spend your money on her. I reminded her that she told me that her love language was acts of service, and she blew up at me in the car on the ride home, telling me to shut the fuck up, to never look her in the eyes again, to never be within 300 feet of her again, and to never bring up things I do for her ever, ever again. But wait, there's more. He doesn't give up despite this. March 2025, she told me about all the men who have stalked her, putting trackers on her keyboard and her computer, putting trackers on her car, putting cameras facing her front door. Men will come up to her even when she's sitting right next to me, tell her how beautiful she is, or try to get her number. Yeah, because they probably look at you and they see the body language and they know, oh, he ain't fucking her. It's like, this is the truth, dude. If you act like a bitch, women will treat you like a bitch. She's never been married or even been in a long-term relationship. Shocking. I wonder why. I just can't understand. Something about anything that seems too relationship-y makes her run. Well, again, you're the Harry Honda in her life. And man, look at the abuse she put you through. April 2024. I invited her to a lunch featuring contacts that can help her business. Despite all the abuse, he's like, thank you. May I have another helping of this, please? The week after that, we went to another formal event downtown. She drank, and I asked her to just tell me, I don't like you, meaning me. Because he's trying to get her to just say, all right, the reason I treat you this way is I don't like you. It's like he could tell deep down he knows she's not into him, but he just wants to hear her say it. She said that she feels like a giant fuck-up when it comes to our relationship. And she said, you are definitely my boyfriend. You're my boyfriend. It's like, yeah, you're not her boyfriend, bro. You're her pretend boyfriend when she's drunk. She says that she believes that God brought me into her life and that every day she is trying to get her life together to be a good partner to me. Yeah, but if I bottom line her actions, it's like, yeah, she didn't mean that. She's just telling you what you want to hear. Just so you keep writing the checks and spending the money and throwing your American Express black card down. May 2024, she said that she was working on a big thank you to me for all I've done for her. But there was never any follow-up on that. Yeah, she didn't mean it. And I think that will never happen. Nope, it won't, because she don't care. There's no consequences for her bullshitting you. She asked me to take a fitness class with her, and we never went to the first class. She didn't mean it. Again, we look at what a woman does, not what she says. We did finally go on a hike after a year of talking about it and dinner afterwards with a great conversation. I confirmed another hike the next weekend, but she said she was too busy to hike anymore. Ooh, look at the time. I'm just too busy. I had a streak of 5 funerals and asked her to join one where I was a speaker, and she said she doesn't do funerals. It's too sad for her. Of course, the following week, she canceled a dinner date with me because she said she had to attend a funeral with a friend. See how that works? She told me, because all that matters is her feelings, and how she's feeling in the moment determines her behavior. And she knows that she can abuse him in any way she wants, and he'll just keep coming back for more. She told me about how her father left her mother and the 16 kids, her siblings, and how she doesn't ever trust men. Bing, bing! What did I say earlier? Comes from a broken home. Dad rode off into the sunset. He wasn't there for her, so she doesn't trust men. Doesn't know who to trust. She's a mess. It's just, trying to date a girl from a broken home. She's not normal. Fuck buddy, friends with benefits, sex playmate, but you're not going to fix this fucking Fruit Loop. I had a minor procedure for surgery for the first time and asked for some emotional support from her, and she said that was not something she does, that I should just ask someone else for that. It's like, this girl's swell. Can't wait to introduce her to Mom. Mom's going to be thrilled. June 2024, we took a mutual friend out for lunch, and that friend said she always thought the two of us would have beautiful babies as we both have green eyes. She said she talks about children with me a lot, it's true, but only when she's drunk, and she said she might never want to have kids, as she is very mentally ill and doesn't want to pass that on. Well, what did Maya Angelou said? When somebody tells you who they are, believe them the first time. If a chick tells you she's level 10 crazy, fucking believe her. Don't say, I would really like to experience the movie Blind Date in my own life. And that was like one night that Bruce Willis's character had with you. You had a whole year of blind date experiences. You were a glutton for punishment. She told me on the drive home that she was living with a man. Remember what I said earlier in the very beginning of the video? You'll need this later. She was living with a man and was in a relationship with him when we started dating. Remember, he asked her if she was single. She's like, oh yeah, definitely. True story, I'm single, but she's living with her boyfriend. He would leave her alone a lot and would not celebrate her birthdays or holidays like Valentine's Day, as he was always traveling to and from his investment properties. July 2024, and this is the end of the story. We have been invited to spend a week in Mexico with another couple at the end of this month. Dude, you're not a couple. You're not even fuck buddies. As badly as our last week-long trip was in D.C., I'm a little scared. You're just a little scared. You're just slightly scared after all of this fun you've had for a whole year. Maybe you're just as crazy as she is, and you're just like, man, I can't wait to see what happens next, coach. It's like nothing is ever what I expect with this woman. At least my life is interesting. She reacts badly when she gets anxiety about anything that feels like a relationship. See, this is how he kind of rationalizes her behavior. Oh, I can fix this. Coach, with your book and your help, I can save this woman. They're like, no, you can't. Dad fucked up. That's why he left a long time ago. Although she loves bombs all the time, is a future faker, and talks about being my girlfriend, being married, living together, and having children all the time. Dude, she's just blowing it up, sunshine up your ass. She doesn't mean it. Hopefully, you recognize that by now. She never apologizes for her bad behavior, instead saying she is toxic and saying, why should I always be the one to apologize? There's a pattern here of getting close and then her running away almost immediately. Well, what happens is you just act like a beta male every time you're around her. And so she just blows you off because she's looking for somebody to be masculine and stand up to her. Because any guy that has a moderate amount of testosterone is just simply not going to put up with this bullshit. That's a fact of life. So hopefully, dude, you've come to realize after going through my book and maybe my roasting of you in this email, because, I mean, you got to laugh at this. This is like a crazy email. This is one of the craziest emails. Is like, dude, you're a tough bastard. I got to say, I must respect and admire you for the fact that you put up with all this shit for a whole year. This is what happens when you don't set and enforce healthy boundaries, when you act too nice, too soft, too compliant. You get blue balls, you get an empty wallet, an empty bank account, and just all kinds of public and private abuse and humiliation. No self-respecting man that understands women would ever put up with even the first thing that she did. You should have tapped out a long time ago. If I were you, I'd take a different girl on this trip. I would not fucking take her with you. But I really appreciate you sharing the email, because it's really good and really illustrative. Like, what happens when you don't stand up to a woman? You literally create fucking a Godzilla tyrant that just makes your life hell. Again, go check out the movie Blind Date with Bruce Willis and Kim Basinger from the 80s. It's fucking hilarious. And it'll remind you of the email. It's like, some of the shit that happens in here is not even is even crazier than the stuff that was happening in the movie Blind Date. And like when you see that movie, it's like, that's so obnoxious, so over the top. There's no way anything like that could ever happen in real life. But this is kind of worse than the movie, in my opinion. What do you guys think? So if you got a question or challenge and you want to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website, and book a coaching session with yours truly. If you haven't already signed up for our exclusive premium members only content, in the video description of this video, there are links to join on YouTube, or you can join on Spotify or our website, understandingrelationships.com. Just click the plans tab when you get there, or the link that's in the video description of this video. And until next time,